So it looks like there's been a twist in the Enzo Fernandez transfer coming to Chelsea. And depending on which side of the fence you're on with this player, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But for what we know, we will not be spending 120 million plus for this player, which in my humble opinion makes total sense because yes, he had a great World Cup. He's done quite well at Benfica, has a pretty good track record for himself, but to pay that much for such a young player, it seems a little too high because yes, he has a high potential, a very high ceiling, but there's also the possibility he never reaches that. And you have this high price tag, which can put a lot of pressure on a player. We've seen this happen to Chelsea time and time again, and I'd hate to see it happen to another midfielder coming to this club. Now, that being said, though, there is still talks about this player coming to the club. It seems like we may offer around 80 million, give or take a couple million here and there with Todd Boehly, but also add in 3 extra players. Right now, it seems like Ziyech is the top player with that, which who knows how that could go. I know he's been wanting out of Chelsea. I know my last video I made, I talked about how Ziyech should get some more chances after the World Cup, but if he does want out, it makes sense to let him go. It's been a roller coaster of time at Chelsea for this player, and maybe he wants to finally get off this ride. I can't fault that player. It also looks like we're going to also transfer 2 of our new transfers coming in. So Fofana and I believe Santos, who's not even technically at the club yet, are currently the other 2 players. So those 3 players plus 80 million for Enzo. Seems like that could be a good bargain, but are also offloading Ziyech and giving maybe some playing time to those other players who may not see the pitch too often at Chelsea. So that would make sense as well. Now, again, this is all speculation. From what I've read, this could all change within the next couple hours, the next couple days, depending on what is talked behind doors. But it seems like Chelsea has not given up on Enzo, even though, like I said, it's kind of done a 180 twist on this because from what we saw yesterday and the day before, this seemed like this was going to be a for sure thing, almost done. I think everyone was waiting for Fabrizio to make the here we go, and it never did happen, which is why I didn't make a video because I wanted to wait because it seemed like if he hadn't posted or tweeted about it yet, it wasn't fully across the finish line, which is why, again, we didn't see it because there's been talks about trying to change it up. Now, that being said, let's talk about why we still want to bring Enzo in because this is going to be a crucial transfer window for us for this whole year and next year because the problem right now is that we are obviously on the outskirts of looking into top 4, which means there's a possibility we may not have Champions League, and currently where we're sitting, we may not even have Europa League, which is going to take a massive blow for our transfers in the summer because there's going to be a lot of players that are going to want to come in and play in the Champions League or just even play in Europe in general. And Chelsea cannot offer that. There's going to be players that are just going to turn and say, no, they do not want to come to Chelsea. They're going to go to Arsenal. They're going to go to Newcastle, Manchester United, Manchester City. All these other teams are actually in the competing top 4 and going to play in Europe, which, like I said, is going to be very difficult for Chelsea. Now, obviously, we've been in this situation before, 2012, when we were on the outside of the top 4, but we did win the Champions League, so therefore we still got Champions League. That could still happen yet, but that is a very long shot, so I do not want to rely on that. We should focus on the Premier League itself. I think we play Manchester City, was it Saturday or Sunday for the FA third round? If we get knocked out, then we can solely focus on the Premier League, which I think might be a good thing. You might have a different opinion on that, but if we just straight focus on the Premier League, I think we can still finish in the top 4, which, yes, I do understand is a long shot and maybe a hot take. I may watch this video at the end of the season and be like, what was I even thinking? But I still think we can finish in the top 4. It's just we have to get things going as soon as possible, and that includes transfers coming in this January window, and I think Enzo needs to come in as well. Hopefully, like I said, we only pay about 80 million and maybe a few extra players, but going over 100 million for this player just seems that would be almost dumb of us for doing that. Yes, I know Todd Boehly obviously has a lot of cash to splash on players, but if we're going to spend that on Enzo, then that really gets the whole door wide open for other players coming to this club saying, well, if Enzo got this, why can't we get this? And then that's going to create a whole issue in the locker room because then other players that have just recently come in are on less wages, even though they performed already at Chelsea or have done things at Chelsea and won Champions League with the team. So again, it's going to almost create this unbalancing in the locker room, and you'd hate for that to happen because that's just more issues turmoil that Graham Potter, Todd Boehly, and the whole board will have to deal with. So I'm really curious to see how this January transfer window goes. But Enzo Fernandez, the main talking point on this video is that things are still stalling, but there's a good possibility he will come. And again, he has to come this January. If he does not, we will not see him in the summer. I guarantee it, because he's going to get so many other clubs looking at him. Benfica are obviously going to get a lot of offers as well. And therefore, like I said, if we don't get him this January window, we will not see him at the club, which would be a shame. I think he will do very, very well at Chelsea. He obviously will do well at any club he goes to, but I think he will do well at Chelsea as well. So that is all I have for you today in this video. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that. It helps get this video to more and more fans such as yourself. And if you have any comments, write them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. What are your thoughts on Enzo? What are your thoughts on other players coming in this January transfer window? Graham Potter, Chelsea's chances of winning the top 4. I want to know what you guys think, so comment down below. So that is all I have for you, and I will see you in our next video.